where can we go from here? Where can we feel better about ourselves as a society and a culture, in your opinion?
Well, Jeff, I think we've reached a boiling point that we're finally demanding a solution. Like, we want to see changes. Like, we don't want to see another Trayvon Martin or Freddie Gray or George Floyd. We don't want to keep seeing this. We want to see changes to the system, which is police brutality, police having too much power, and just police officers not being held accountable. So legislation being passed and just a cultural shift. Like, this is what we want to see.
I remember Rodney King, and then, as you say, Freddie Gray, Eric Gardner in New York.
Very similar. Yeah.
George Floyd was a game changer. It was a game changer. And what, in your opinion, what caused that? Had it been bubbling up for so long, just underneath the surface, or what changed this time around?
I think it's several factors. I think one of them is just, it's been a lot of things happening, and at the same time, like Ahmaud Arbery a few weeks before already had people feeling really hot. I think it's the coronavirus pandemic. People have been trapped at home. People were like boiling under, kind of like, Romeo and Juliet. Like, it was really hot and people got aggravated and then everyone wanted to fight. So I think all those factors led into it. And then the actual video itself of being almost 9 minutes long, and the complete, dehumanization of a man on national TV, like, crying out for his mother. Like, I think that really got to a lot of people and hit people, like, right in the heart.
What do you think could be done as far as police are concerned? I've noticed that in many instances, I worked in Baltimore for 20 years. About 15% of the police force in Baltimore lived in the city of Baltimore. Most lived in the suburbs. And what I could never get was, how can a police force that's paid to protect a certain community do its job if it doesn't know the community that well? Because a lot of people from the force don't live there.
Well, I think that's one issue, but at the same time, I think the whole issue is just general accountability. Like, we could bring in officers from, upstate New York and Pennsylvania, bring them to Baltimore, but if they're not going to be held accountable for their actions, whether they're from Baltimore or not, doesn't really make a difference. Like, you could be from the same street and terrorizing the same street you grew up on. You just have to be held liable if you're going to go rogue and do something that's not in the best interest of the community.
There's a great saying out there, and for white people, I think it's worth looking into. I'll never understand, but I stand. And I think that's a great saying. So how do we seek solutions now? How do we find the solution so that we can move on? This is a very painful period we're all going through right now, of all races. But maybe there's some good that can come out of this. What are the solutions that you're thinking about?
Well, one solution is two of our congresswomen, Catherine Clark and Ayanna Pressley, she's the lead on it, have this great bill they're trying to push through Congress now. So we would like to see something like that. We'd like to see, the qualified immunity be attacked. We'd like to see, the cultural shift. Like, there's a lot of great police officers, a lot of great police chiefs that some of them have said, I can't even get rid of bad cops if I wanted to, because the police union is so strong and it prevents this. So we need that to change. I don't know if it's getting rid of the union completely, whether it's, getting brand new jury members. Like, I feel like everyone will be better off once those things go into effect, and all the good police officers will be able to better do their job without having really a target on their back from people hating police, from not trusting police. At the same point, each individual district and department will have credibility in the communities if everyone knows they're not going to tolerate, people going rogue and misbehaving.
What's the NAACP doing right now? What are you hearing from the NAACP? We hear from Black Lives Matter. We hear from other activist organizations. The NAACP has been around for a long time. What are they doing about what has happened in the last 20 plus days?
So we're doing a lot of pushing legislation. So from the national NAACP, which, we have the lawyers and everything, we're trying to push those new legislations, whether it's the ban on knee and chokeholds, whether it's the getting rid of qualified immunity, whether it's the citizen review board. So we're doing a lot of the legislative pushing. Like, Black Lives Matter and NAACP are very different groups. So Black Lives Matter they have a lot more younger members. They're going to do a lot more of the rallying, a lot more of the marches. NAACP is more, the political aspect of it.